Okay, so this is part two of the historical persona essay. So I'm going to go through how you're going to write it, how you might go about choosing who you're going to pick, and the style in which you are writing, and some requirements. So, a historical persona essay, you first have to include a historical person. So it has to be somebody, it can be alive or they can have passed on. So it can be a long time ago that they lived. Um, it defines, it's really important that you pick a person who has some defining moments in their lives because you're basically going to probably be writing about a couple of these important moments in your essay so that it's a really focused and organized essay and not just like blah, this is their person's life. This is not a typical essay. There is some specific criteria and guidelines that you're going to have to follow, and I think you're going to actually enjoy it. So, you need to show understanding of the person, so you need to do a little bit of research, the events of their lives, gather details about the time and place in which things happened to them. So, it's going to be really important for you to do some research about this person. You're also going to do a lot of observing and reflecting on their life and their experiences. So, this is supposed to be an accurate description of the individual that you choose. This essay is very different from a lot of essays because you are going to use I, which means you are going to imagine yourself to be the person that you are talking about in these events. So, if I pick somebody like Marilyn Monroe is going to be my person, I am going to talk as if I am Marilyn Monroe in the essay. So I walked down the street and I seen this person, or I had a very bad upbringing, or this is what I went through when I was a child. That is how you're going to voice your person, your historical persona. Um, it's going to include a lot of thoughts and feelings that that person has. And it's also going to include some dialogue that is going to bring the characters to life. So a dialogue between you and another person that was in this historical person's life, or an event or a conversation that would have happened that maybe changed them. Um, it is also going to follow a really structured organization, which we are going to go through a little later in the document. So this is a less formal type essay. It's one that you can have a little bit of fun with because you can kind of assume the persona of the person that you are going to become. So you're essentially going to become that person. The writer is going to convey a lot of realism. You are going to convey a lot of realism. You're going to invite the reader, which is me or anybody else who's going to read this, into that person's life and share their experiences. It's going to usually focus or around an important event. One thing that was significant in the life of that person. You want to recreate that moment throughout the essay, maybe explain how that changed their life, how it caused them to be successful later on, how it motivated them and their success, and kind of really focus on that one event, not a series of events. So maybe Edison, when we're talking about the light bulb here, how did that one event and his struggle to get that to work, and go through like that experience and maybe talking to a person about why he doesn't think it's going to work and really get us into the life of that person during that particular time in their life. And then later on in the essay, reflecting on how that was so important and determining the direction of their life. Okay, so this is all about descriptors. Using very descriptive language in your essay is going to be really, really important. I cannot emphasize this. You are not writing this in like third person. You are the person that you are writing about. That is their voice. You are their voice in this essay. Again, picking a person who has had a significant challenge is going to be really important. Writing the essay in first person, it has to have some dialogue, and we're going to look at this checklist before. So before you start writing, you're going to watch these videos. It's going to be really important. So you make sure that you watch them. Obviously, if you are, that's great. You're going to probably want to use the graphic organizer that's included below to organize your thoughts and sequence your essay in an understandable way. You are going to get a bonus mark for completing the organizer. So you're going to get an extra mark for doing the organizer. It's really important and handing that in. You're going to create a draft. You're going to revise it. We're going to do a peer edit on it. So it means that you're going to share it with somebody else and they are going to look at it and make suggestions. I'm going to show you about that a little bit later. I'll probably put a tutorial up tomorrow showing you how to actually do a peer edit when somebody shares something with you on a Google Doc. Consider the message and make sure that it's focused, you're clear, your descriptors are accurate, your word choice is appropriate. No obscene language in this essay. I know it's first person, but no F-bombs or anything like that in this essay. Point of view is consistently first person, so making sure that you're not using the he or she, that you're always using I, that you have a clear introduction, that your dialogue is also formatted properly by using quotation marks, that you're checking for spelling and punctuation, etc. So there is a mark for the revised or draft version of this and looking at somebody else's and going back and fixing your work. That's going to be really, really important. And there is a mark assigned to that in the rubric for this assignment. So this is the organizer. It basically outlines every paragraph of this essay for you. Who is your persona? Where do you live? What's your family background? Your age, your occupation? Include information that's relevant to your work or your accomplishments. Then B, basically that is the introduction. This is your first paragraph of your essay. Next, B is your second paragraph. What breakthrough did you achieve? Describe the society you live in. If it's like now, tell me it's now. But if it's in the 1800s, that's a little different. Life was a little different back then. Okay. Where do you live? Is your level of what's the level of science and technology at this time? So if you're writing about Elon Musk, again, a little different than Edison. Okay, so give me a little background there. Next, paragraph 3. How did you feel about having to deal or work on this project? So maybe use some inferences. This is where we get into a little bit of your life and you get to insert a little bit about how you think this person felt during this time in their lives. How have you overcome the challenges? This might be a part 2 to this third paragraph. So the feelings you have, and then how did you overcome the challenge? How has your work made you who you are? Okay, what are some of the highlights in your life? Maybe this is now your fourth paragraph. What achievements do you celebrate? What are the lessons that you've learned because of this challenge, or what have you been able to accomplish? And what could you tell others who are doing something similar, giving advice to other people? What would you pass on, or what have you learned? Again, kind of the same thing. So that box A, box B, D, and C, you can combine those. Or you can combine D and E. Like it depends on how your person is organized in your essay. And then the final box, basically, how has the challenge been important to your growth as a person? Offer a final statement, a last words of wisdom that you want to give the reader, me, for your essay, so your audience. And that's it, guys. This should be a really fun one for you. You get to kind of like become this person that you have maybe admired or really enjoyed learning about. Pick somebody who you think is interesting, okay? Make sure that you write the name of the person below this post so that you are not doing, I don't have a lot of people doing the same person. You have to, if your person's picked, then you got to pick somebody else, okay? If you have any questions, also post them in the dialog box below because I'm sure somebody else likely has the same question. I'm going to write this in the post. I will be online, I think, maybe for a little bit today at 2:30 so that you guys can ask me any questions. I'm going to try and post this as soon as possible so you get a chance to look and see what this is all about. Sorry, this is a little bit of a longer one, longer than the last one, but hopefully this gives you a good breakdown of what's expected of you and what you're going to do. I'm also going to post the rubric online, so you'll have access to that, so you'll know how that you're going to be marked. And I'm not going to post on how you can edit other people's yet until tomorrow. I'll add that to the post tomorrow, just so that you have an idea of how you can edit somebody else's and how you can add me, and then I'll know who's been editing, and I'll give you a sheet that you can fill out for that too. So I think this is what we're going to be working on for the rest of the week. I'll make the deadline on Friday because that's probably what I would have been doing anyway. I would have given you guys the whole week to work on this. So I'm looking forward to reading them. It is worth a good chunk of your mark, so take time and get some good research going here the first couple days so that it's easier to mark, and then you'll do your editing on Thursday and Friday to finally hand in then to me on Friday. Okay, guys, thanks.